Good Sunday morning, y'all. Here is something I've been thinking about the last few days, and it's about what YouTube has taught me. You know, trucking taught me a lot about people, and I came away from trucking with the belief that you can tell everything you ever wanted to know about a person by how they drive. Selfish and unforgiving people block gas station driveways and don't let people pull out, and when somebody wants to get on the interstate on an on-ramp, and jerks speed up and try to prevent them from getting in front of them instead of slowing down and making a gap. Well, YouTube has taught me similar things about people, and here's some examples. I have come to believe that some people go through their life excuse me, still morning, still waking up, and they have one skill, one thing that they've learned, one thing that they know, one thing that they've become good at. And when they find videos, or some of them actively look for videos on that particular subject, so they can get in the comment section and tell the person who did the video how they did it all wrong, what knife they should have used, what tool they should have used, how they should have done it differently or better. I'll give you a couple of examples. I have a couple of videos of a guy I know, Kevin, who for 30 years or more, what he's done is get up in trees and cut trees down. And he is highly skilled, very impressive, fit as a fiddle, strong as an ox, and the man knows what he's doing. I mean, you just look at his equipment, it's well worn and well taken care of. He is an expert in every meaning of that word. And I have a couple, 2 or 3 videos of him climbing in trees and cutting them down and using different techniques and something called a slide line. And to me, it was just very interesting. And a lot of other people have thought it was very interesting too. But those 3 videos seem to attract the people that do that for a living. And I think it's mostly young guys who don't realize that when people do something a lot, they develop techniques that suit their purposes and their needs, and that they're able to do better than other techniques, so that's what they use. Well, those 3 videos attract the quote experts, unquote, who do nothing but critique Kevin's technique. And you know, I've had Kevin drop probably 50 trees altogether, and every single tree has gone exactly where he wanted it. Every limb has landed exactly where he wanted the limb to land. He's cut trees within, 10 feet of a house and put them exactly where he wanted. And in my opinion, Kevin is a true professional. And what I also know about Kevin is he wouldn't go on other people's videos and tell them what they did wrong and how they should have done it different. And some people have even called him a fraud. A fraud! I've removed those comments. I mean, some comments that are just mean and stupid, I just don't even let them see the light of day for more than a few minutes. Recently, I had a guy. I'm not picking on this guy. I really want to believe he means well, or meant well, but he went way, way beyond the point of a reasonable person telling you that a different knife would be better. And yeah, I'm not going to pick on this person, but first thing he told me was that I cooked something wrong and that my yolks should have been runny. Well, me, I hate runny yolks. I would never eat a runny yolk. And even when I ordered eggs at a restaurant, I would always make certain they understood that I would rather have it burned than runny. So I cooked my eggs where the yolks aren't runny because that's the way I like them. And this person, first thing he told me was that, and he said it in kind of a smart-ass way, "I hate to tell you this, but your yolks are supposed to be runny." And then he was telling me that I shouldn't have used that knife. I should have used another knife. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I'm just going to be polite. I said, I don't like runny yolks, and this is my favorite knife, and I use it for everything. Well, for a normal person, that would have been the end of it. But no, this guy went on and on and on about me using the wrong knife and how I should try the knife that he wanted me to use, and I just gave up after a while. That's not the only video. I have probably 100 or more videos that seem to attract the experts, that tell me what I've done wrong, and almost always I will go to their channel and they have either nothing to back up all this wonderful advice they're giving, or one or two videos of that subject that they consider themselves an expert on. And that's what I've learned about YouTube. Just by the comments, you can really get a really in-depth understanding of a person's psyche. And I believe the ones that are the most demanding that you do things their way are the ones that have the least amount of skills in other areas. And they really want to show off the one thing they know how to do well. I have a... Man, I must have sat in a frickin' ant. Get down, Breezy. I gotta brush this ant off my leg. It's driving me nuts. Jeez. Isn't that a beautiful oak tree? That is just a gorgeous oak tree right there. I mean, they're all pretty oak trees, but that one is really old. And we have trimmed and pruned and manicured, and that's the one that that limb right there, that's the one that broke, and while I was cutting it down, I fell and broke my wrist. Stupid tree. Anyway, that's just an observation I was making. And now I want to tell you a funny story. Some of y'all maybe you've heard me talk about our friend Bev that lives over in Wascom. Well, her husband Jim was my friend for many, many years, and we were truckers. And Jim told us a story, and we know the truck stop it involves because we've been there a million times. It's White's. I don't actually know if it's there anymore, but it used to be called White's Truck Stop on Interstate 81 in Raphine, Virginia, R-A-P-H-I-N-E. And we used to love that truck stop. And they had this really pretty pond out on just a beautiful grassy area, and it was just nice to look at. It was like a park. Well, Jim stopped at that truck stop one day and had a fishing rod with him. And he decided he was going to go throw a line in that pond and sit on the bank and just kill some time. So he walks out across this beautiful green pasture to the pond. It's truck stop property. It's not private property. And he throws a line out in the water. I think he had some bologna on the hook. And he sits down. And he's just enjoying the sunny day and the beautiful scenery and the pretty pond. And he notices this old fellow walking across this pasture to him, and walks up to Jim and asks him if he's catching anything. And Jim says, "No, just I've seen this pond here for all these years, and I've always wanted to throw a line in just see if I catch something." And he said, "Well, you're not likely to." And Jim says, "Well, why is that?" He goes, "Well, I don't believe there's any fish in there, and most folks around these parts don't fish in oxidation ponds." I thought about the other day, Jim told us that story. I'd like to have fallen out of my truck, man. That was so funny. And if you don't know what an oxidation pond is, it's a sewage pond where raw sewage oxidizes, basically. It's really, they don't do that in very many places anymore because of the smell and all that. And, you know, I had been to that pond, and I myself didn't know it was an oxidation pond. We used to let our dog out there because it was such a big, beautiful green area that he could run, and you could see him far enough, you know, where people wouldn't bother him, and he wouldn't bother any other people, or animals wouldn't get him. And it was just a beautiful pond, and I had no idea that that's what it was because it didn't smell. Anyway, that was a funny story. Jim was fixing a, I don't know, maybe a turd bass or something. Have a good Sunday, y'all.